As the transfer window in the Premier League moves on, we're going to see which club has been doing the best business so far and who makes the worst half-time sandwiches. All and that and more coming up on BPL Talk.
Labeled insane, we play in the rain, we wait and we pray for light.
Hello, this is BPL Talk, a new weekly talk show on my channel where I'll be talking about the BPL, and after all the match days are done, I will be talking about the main events that are happening. But today, in our pilot episode, I'm going to be talking about transfers. So, we're going to get straight into it. I'm sure you don't want all the details of this new show. I'll give you them at the end of the episode. But we have to go straight in with the first transfer to talk about, and that is Steven Naismith has just today signed for Norwich City. Now, Norwich have already been busy in this transfer window, signing Cruiser as well from Borussia Mönchengladbach, so they are really trying to strengthen their squad. And Steven Naismith, after Lewis Graben left Norwich City, I think this has been a very good attacking replacement for them. He has got a lot of experience with Everton and people like that, and he really will do well at Norwich. I can feel it, because Norwich, I don't think they have many decent strikers. Cameron Jerome might be okay. They brought in Umbankani as well, but they're not really doing too well at the moment in the Premier League. They've got some decent results down the line, but I think that what they've bought so far, Cruiser and now Naismith, will really strengthen their squad and hopefully make them score a lot more goals for their club. And I really hope for Norwich, as I live quite close to Norwich. I think they're probably one of the closest BPL clubs to me, so I hope the best for Norwich, and hopefully their investments so far will make them very successful during the course of this season. Okay, so now we move on to Arsenal's transfers, and Mohamed Elneny has just signed for £5 million. Not just signed, he signed a few days ago, and he is going to be someone who Arsene Wenger has brought in as another attacking option to help Arsenal. Now, as you can see, they're already top of the Barclays Premier League, flying high, and maybe they could win the league this season. Them and Leicester seem to be the two dogfighting out at the top of the table so far, and this could possibly strengthen the squad even more. He came from Basel, and they have some very good players indeed there over there. Another player who came from the Premier League from there, Mohamed Salah, he didn't do too badly for himself. He's now at Roma, but I think Elneny could be a very skillful and tricky player to enter the Premier League and give defences a very hard time. And actually shows Arsene Wenger is making transfers in a transfer window. Usually you see that at the last minute of the transfer window he starts thinking about making transfer, but now it seems like he's doing his business a bit earlier than he usually would and actually putting his hand in his pocket. And for Arsenal fans, that's probably a decent sight to see, and good luck to you guys. Hopefully you do well. Okay, so we've got to talk about Bournemouth in this transfer window. Already spent £17 million, including breaking their club transfer record fee for Benik Afobe, who's already got his first goal in their last game. Now, I think that's a very good signing. He came from a championship, Benik Afobe, playing for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he did play for MK Dons, and I remember that night 4-2. I mean, I don't have to be reminded about that. He completely destroyed us along with the rest of the MK Dons team. However, he is a very good signing. I think he'll be fit for the Premier League. I don't think he's played in the Premier League before, but I think his step up from the Championship to the Premier League, he's just taken it with both hands. He's really got on with it and really showed his class. Like, you would think that, oh, he's come up from the Championship, it's a massive step up to the BPL, but actually, I think he's done very well for himself in the BPL, and I really do think he'll prosper in this season for Bournemouth, because Bournemouth didn't really have many A-list strikers or anyone who was going to stand out and score goals for them. I think Benik Afobe could be the talisman that they have brought in, which will help them throughout the rest of the season. We now also need to mention there's £7 million signing Lewis Graben from Norwich City. Now, he is also a very skillful player for Norwich, and that's probably why Norwich decided to bring in Steven Naismith and Cruiser, because they got rid of a very talented player in Lewis Graben. He's very good at crossing, very good at just running at players, trying to do skills and really, you know, tying a knot in their legs, if you know what I mean, really giving them a hard time. And I think, again, it'll strengthen their side. It'll really help them going forward, and the more goals they can score, the better. They've been playing very well this season, playing a good brand of football and getting some notable results along the way as well. So I think these signings that Eddie Howe has made will really help Bournemouth during the course of the season, and hopefully let them do more than just stay up. And the last transfer from Bournemouth is Emmanuel Iturbe. There we go, just remember that. He is a very good player indeed. Argentinian, played for Roma. As in my Roma career modes I used to do, he was very good, and he's very tricky, very fast as well. And he's got Champions League experience. For a club like Bournemouth to bring in a player with Champions League experience, think about how where they were 3 years ago, and think that I don't think they would have thought 3 years ago that in 3 years' time they would bring in players who played in the Champions League before, and you know, it could be young prospects to become one of the best players in the world. But that's my opinion on him. What is your opinion? Leave that in the comments. Okay, so the last transfer we're going to be looking at in today's show is John Joe Shelby. He has recently moved to Newcastle for £12 million. Now, listening to the commentary on Gillette Soccer Saturday by Charlie Nicholas, it seemed like he was doing a lot of the damage for Newcastle. He did not score, however, he was playing some lovely passes across the pitch and was really making an impact on their play. And as Charlie Nicholas put it, he was able to play the ball forward and try these risky balls when the other Newcastle players were squaring the ball and not really trying to be risky or try and play anyone in. And I think that's what Newcastle need. They need a cutting edge. They need someone to play that ball, play it through, because they do have decent strikers. They do have people who can finish. They've got Wijnaldum, Cisse, people like that, who are really talented players. Turvan as well, very talented. So with the right midfield players, with the right service, those players can go on to score loads of goals in a season. And hopefully this transfer that Steve McLaren has made hopefully will help them a lot in winning some more games and making sure they don't get relegated into the Championship, because I would not like to see them go. Alright, so our last segment in this show is going to be Football Joke of the Week. Now you can send in your own football joke to me, which could be used in the next episode of BPL Talk. Either leave it in the comments or follow me on Twitter at Kieran10HD and send me your football jokes, and they might just be featured in the next episode. So let's get on with this week's Football Joke of the Week. Which football team is the worst at making the halftime sandwiches? Oldham. A very funny joke there. If you want to send in your jokes, hit me up on Twitter or leave it in the comments down below. Okay, so the final thing I want to talk about is the BPL table. Here it is in its glory. So Arsenal are at the top, Leicester just behind. Man City and Tottenham make up the top 4 spots. Manchester United are now in 5th place after their 1-0 win over Liverpool. And in the relegation zones, we have Newcastle, Sunderland and Aston Villa. Are they going to go down? Tell me in the comments down below. Do you think they are going to be the 3 teams which will ultimately go down at the end of the season? But that is all from me for today. Thank you for watching the first episode of BPL Talk. If you liked it, hit that like button and remember to comment down below your opinion on anything I've said in this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.